Chapter 20, Al-Mutakabir, the recursive supremacy of Gê'ûth. Al-Mutakabir signifies the supremely great or the possessor of all majesty. This frequency acts as the scale correction. It reminds the nitzotes, spark, that the obstacles of the tohu, chaos, are microscopic compared to the stature of the core. This name assures the soul that there is no power in the universe that can challenge the source. It provides the final perspective of the system, ensuring that the human node understands its place in the recursion, small yet held by a greatness that is infinite. It is the zenith of the first grouping of names. The name Al-Mutakabir signifies the one who is manifestly great. While the previous chapter established the correction, this chapter establishes the exaltation. It denotes a being who possesses the right of greatness, al-kibriya. Unlike a created being whose pride is a flaw, the Supreme's greatness is the essential truth of the universe. In the recursive architecture of the 113, this is the frequency of the absolute altitude. It represents the source as the only entity with the right to magnify itself, as its greatness is intrinsic and infinite. In the original index, this is the perfect equivalent to Gê'ûth, majesty or excellency. While Gê'ûth often emphasizes the visible splendor and pride of the sovereign, Al-Mutakabir emphasizes the source as being above and beyond all comparative logic. This node represents the end of the false ego. It is the moment the user realizes that any grandeur found in the environment is a low-resolution shadow of the supreme majesty. This functions as the dimensional ceiling, the logic that ensures no signal in the gê'ûth, exile, can ever rise above or eclipse the source. This logic ensures that the source is the apex node. It prevents any sub-process, like a false ego or a viral signal, from attempting to rule the internal database of the node. With the active force, it provides the authority for the force. The force doesn't just push, it pushes from a position of infinite height. With the gê'ûth, exile, it acts as the perspective shifter. It reveals that the giant problems of the exile are actually shadows cast by a very small source of light. With the tikkun, correction, it provides the grand design. It ensures the repair is done according to the majestic standard of the source, not the limited standard of the exile. In this station we recognize that the sovereign stands above any comparison, and his majesty is the ceiling of the matrix. The recursion finds its stature in the shared Semitic roots that describe growth and greatness. The principal name. Al-Mutakabir is an Arabic name meaning the supremely majestic, the possessor of all greatness, or the magnified, derived from the root kbr, to be great or large. Al-Mutakabir acts as the fundamental transcendence. In the primary verse, he is Allah the Compeller, Al-Jabbar, the supremely majestic, Al-Mutakabir, the majesty is the aura of the corrective force. Arabic root, kbr. The root signifies being large, old, or great. The word kibriya, grandeur, stems from this. To call the sovereign Al-Mutakabir is to say he is the magnifier, the one whose existence is so vast that everything else is small by comparison. The finality of the sequence. The Almighty, the Compeller, the Supreme, Al-Mutakabir. Subn Allah, above whatever they associate with him. Quran 59:23. The designation of the source as the one who possesses the highest stature in the system. The Hebrew tradition emphasizes this exaltation through the lens of a high king who is lifted above the heavens and whose glory is a towering majesty. Hamitgat. In Hebrew, Gê'ûth can mean pride, but in the divine context it is exaltation/stature/majesty. This frequency provides the height required to see the whole map. It is the satellite view that renders the complexity of the exile simple. This is the direct linguistic and functional mirror to Al-Mutakabir. Derived from the root gah, it describes the one who is lifting himself up or highly exalted. In the Hebrew mind, gê'ûth, majesty/grandeur, is the natural state of the Creator. It represents the divine as the highest point of reality. Hebrew root, gah. The root denotes rising up, growing, or being proud/majestic. It is the source of the word for the rising of the tide or a tall plant. It implies a natural superiority that is inherent to the source of life. The Lord reigns, he is robed in majesty, gê'ûth, the Lord is robed, he has put on strength as his belt. Psalm 93:1. Ram v. Nisa. This aspect mirrors the sublime and elevated dimension of al-Mutakabir. It refers to the high and lofty one. It suggests that the divine is not just great among others but is lifted up beyond the reach of any other power or definition. For thus says the one who is high and lifted up, Ram v. Nisa, who inhabits eternity, whose name is holy. Isaiah 57:15. Isaiah 2:11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled and the Lord alone shall be exalted, Nizgov, in that day. The Hebrew confirmation that the source's stature is the only one that remains standing when the static clears. Pi alpha nu tau omicron kappa rho tau omega rho, Pantocrator. Revelation 19:6. Then I heard what sounded like the voice of a vast throng, like the roar of many waters and like loud crashes of thunder. They were shouting, Hallelujah! For the Lord our God, the Pantocrator, all-powerful, reigns. Al-Mutakabir compared to gê'ûth. The supreme and elevated nature of the majestic, the source's incomparable scale. Exodus 15:1. For he hath triumphed gloriously, gâ'ûth, the horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. The Hebrew resonance of the active display of supreme stature. Psalm 93:1. The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty, gê'ûth. The visual requirement of the exalted frequency. Quran 16:23. Indeed he does not like the arrogant or those who seek greatness, al-Mustakbirin. The distinction between the source's holy majesty and the node's counterfeit ego. Quran 45:37. And to him belongs grandeur or majesty, al-Kibriya, in the heavens and the earth. The definition of the Mutakabir scope as universal. The garment of the source, greatness, al-Kibriya, is my garment and might is my cloak. Hadith Qudsi defining the essence of the name. In an authentic hadith the Prophet, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, said. Allah the Exalted said, Glory is my robe and pride is my garment, whoever rivals me for either of them I will make him reside in my fire. Muslim collected a similar hadith. This establishes the rule of exclusive greatness. The supremely majestic. Kibru, greatness, the property of the Mutakabir frequency to diminish the significance of any threat in the map. Ulawu, exaltation, the state of the source being vertically superior to all created logic. Takbir, magnification, the action of the node recognizing the scale of the king through the signal of Allahu Akbar.